Hi everyone.
Hello.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I can imagine your schedule is absolutely insane, considering that you have something called Eurovision coming up.
Yeah, it's not more insane that the schedule for an opera singer, so it's much easier here.
You have good stamina, is what you say.
Sorry?
You have good stamina that you can
Yeah,
keep
it's a little bit like a routine, so I'm really happy that we already make our rehearsals, the first and the second one, and it's always much better. I like the evolution, and absolutely will be stunning performance. I really believe in this for the semi-final.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing what it's going to be like in the arena. Probably a few people here are crossover, they're journalists or they're fans, and they got a chance to see your rehearsals. We'll get on to that later. This is not about me, it's about you. So welcome.
It's about us.
It's about us. We're here together. Countertenors. Countertenor is a word that I don't think too many Eurovision fans are that familiar with. Most they're familiar with words like ding dong, you know, bing bong. But countertenor is a long word for Eurovision. Summarize what a countertenor is for the audience.
But I think the countertenor, it's one of the oldest voice that ever exists, because 300, 400 years ago they exist this phenomenon, castrato, and for example Farinelli, it's one of the most famous castrato in the world, and it was like a pop, like Michael Jackson in that time. It was like a pop star. So this kind of voices, it's really old, but it's really new for the audience today. So this is why the new technique to mix the two voices, I mean the head voice with the chest voice. This is why actually now the countertenor exists in these days. But I have to tell you that I'm not castrato, so I'm a really man.
For those people, do we need to explain? Does everyone know what a castrato is?
Yeah.
Please have some respect. I can show you. I'll show you later in the other room. Do people here know what a castrato is? Raise your hand if you don't.
Eunuch, castrato.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you something interesting. The perception maybe about castrato, it's wrong. I mean, if you see, and I recommend you to see this movie called Farinelli, you can see exactly what's happened. I mean, I don't want to be a naughty boy, but I have to tell you that the castrato and all these singers, there was really perverse, and they make orgy everywhere after the concerts. You will see with Farinelli what's happened with his brother, Ménage à Trois, and everything. So the perception maybe about castrato, they are really poor boys, and it's not true. It's the same happened today with the countertenors. We have our life. I mean, it's normal life. So it's not. But
what are you implying, Cezar? Because if you look out into this audience, you'll see it's mostly men of a certain persuasion. So
I'm really happy about this.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm really happy because I mean, yeah, we joke, but you know, you ask me about the countertenor. So it's the man who sings high. It's really easy to understand this, and but it's one of the oldest voices that ever exist, because you have to know. I don't want to go into too much details, but the first voice when the melodrama and the opera born with the countertenor voices, with the castrato voice. With Monteverdi opera, it was one of the first opera written ever in the history of the music, written by Monteverdi, and Monteverdi used a lot of castrato. After, for example, 200 years ago, she came the prima donna, la diva, no? But before la diva and before la prima donna exists the primo uomo, the first man. So we were the first, and after the woman.
I know that uomo in Italian is primo uomo. Yes,
Yeah.
I know that from Vogue. You can see how stylish I dress, sir.
Yes, absolutely.
But I was half expecting you to turn up in one of your unbelievable jackets today, because I've seen some publicity photos, and also I saw you at the concert in Amsterdam that you did, and you have amazing, outrageous taste. Is this something that goes with being, I mean, do you consider yourself a divo, as opposed to, obviously, not a diva? Do you? Well, I mean, does a divo say, I am a divo, or?
No, I don't like this kind of, and especially I don't like the attitude of a diva or divo. I mean, I like to be myself, and I'm really a simple guy and a great person and modest. I know I start from, you know, my beginning. It wasn't so easy, you know, and I do many sacrifices, and I know who I am now. Also, if I'm in Eurovision contest, it's maybe, you know, to come from the red carpet, you feel a little bit like a pop star or something. No, now I have to tell you that I choose this, you know, jeans and Converse.
It's okay, nobody minds.
Yeah, no, but you know, it depends on my mood. I feel now today to be a little bit more casual and more, you know, sport. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again for coming. You come from a family of musicians, is that correct?
Yeah, my father actually, it was one of the greatest flute player in Romania, and he was also a teacher at the Mozarteum, it's Academy of Music in Salzburg. And so I grown up, and since I was 6 years old with Vivaldi music, you know, I wake up in the morning with Vivaldi music, I go to sleep with Vivaldi music and Mozart and everything, and with this magic sounds of the flute, you know. And I start to study the piano, and I finished my gymnasium, I think gymnasium as a pianist. After I specialized in jazz, because I really love jazz music. And I have to tell you something, maybe it's nothing to do with the Eurovision, but you have to know that the Baroque music and the Baroque repertory, the repertory that I sing, so it's really jazzy. You know, a great conductor, Bernstein, says that Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, it was one of the most greatest jazzmen, because it's you know, it's really interesting what's happened between the Baroque music and the jazz music. It's really nice to see all this rhythm, all this, you know, it's like sometimes, you know, you can, I recommend you to listen some Baroque music and some virtuoso arias of Baroque opera, and you can see exactly the rhythm and blues. It's something really, and it's the same. It's the same feeling. So, and maybe you ask me when I start to sing.
Family musicians. No, here's a deeper question.
My mother is not a musician.
Okay.
She's not a musician, but she has a great voice.
I think for people who don't understand the unbelievable training that has to go into a voice like you have, people think that men with high voices are tied to being maybe someone who's effeminate. And as you were growing up, your interest in music and then your studies when you become an adult.
Yeah.
Maybe you could care less about what people think about you, but when people understood that you were training in this kind of, to be a countertenor, how do you balance that with being, or do you feel that someone thinks it's an attack on your masculinity because you're singing high? Absolutely. I always wondered if countertenors are considered that way.
I think that it's a little bit about like the perception of the castrato. No? I think the perception of the new countertenors today, I think the countertenor voice, it can be really virile, no? And it must be a really virile man. And I think it's this.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Absolutely. No, but I think it's nice, you know, to see this contrast. You will see also in the semi-final. So to see a man, really a man, and to sing high. I mean, it's I mean, I don't know exactly the perception of every people, but I know exactly that I want to be and I want to offer my virility, is something like that.
That's the right word.
Yeah, why not? I think we can. It's not only a tenor; it can be virile. I mean, the countertenor. It can be more virile than any voices.
But in pop music today, high voices for both men and for women are very valued. It used to be, in pop music, a deeper, more soulful voice was valued maybe 20, 30 years ago. And now everything is as high as possible, I think. That's my experience with pop music today. Yeah. Do you... I mean,
you mean Mariah Carey and all this kind of...
Yeah, and screaming as loud as
birds,
you can.
whistle, voices.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
You think Mariah Carey has a whistle? Yeah, she sounds like she's whistling.
No, actually, you know, if you analyze a little bit, it's not. I mean, it depends how you project the voice. It's different way to project the voice in the opera houses, where we have no microphones, so we just have to project and to sing seriously. I mean, if you put Mariah Carey in the opera houses to sing without a microphone, nobody can hear it. So it depends. But yeah, maybe I think to have a complex range, it's nice because yeah, you know, I think the human voice is the only instrument that can touch your soul directly.